here to tell you that social media can have harmful effects on teenagers under 16. Why? Why is social media harmful to teenagers under 16? And why should we focus on teenagers under 16 instead of 18? When I was 16, I got my first phone, which gave me the chance to use Instagram just like my peers. And then I realized how much impact social media could have on my life. According to research, teenagers between the age of 13 and 15 often go through a stage in which their mental development becomes more sensitive, making their self-esteem less stable. And another research also suggests that teenagers are more likely to be influenced by social comparison since their brains have not fully matured yet. Therefore, today I will explain why social media can have harmful effect on teenagers under 16. First, I will talk about how it damages self-image. Second, I will discuss how it increases the risk of cyberbullying. Last, I will explain how it can lead to addiction and reduce focus in daily life. Social media changes the way teenagers see themselves. Most people only post good photos on social media. Everything seems perfect because everything has been filtered and carefully edited, which means what we see online is not our reality. And these unrealistic beauty standards can lead to low self-esteem, especially since teenagers are more likely to be influenced by comparison culture. They constantly compare themselves with others. And feel like they are not good enough. Over time, this can seriously affect how they value themselves. As a result, they may start to do the same as others, such as posting filtered pictures, becoming more concerned about their appearance, or even obsessed with materialistic things in order to gain more attention online. Of course, caring about one's appearance is not a bad thing, but when it's taken to an extreme level, it can lead to body shame, and this can create a negative cycle that teenagers feel worse about themselves the more they use social media. According to research from Meta, about 40% of female teenagers who are not satisfied with their bodies believe that Instagram makes them more concerned about their appearance. It shows how strongly social media can shape self-image through adolescence. Next, let's talk about the most serious part, cyberbullying. Social media increases the risk of cyberbullying, but many teenagers don't fully realize at first. According to Pew Research Center, about 59% of teenagers have experienced cyberbullying or online harassment. It shows that it's not a rare problem, but something very common in today's digital world. Everything teenagers post on social media can lead to criticism of them, and sometimes they make judgment on their posts from a random stranger, which is very creepy and even hurtful. So this can seriously affect how they value themselves, and this comment can make them overthink and start to doubt themselves. The criticism and judgment of others can also have an impact on witnesses, which means teenagers may be influenced by these vicious opinions, even though these opinions are not directed at them. And this kind of environment can make them more afraid to express themselves freely. Additionally, social media has a hidden danger, which is exposing teenagers to online harassment. Even their accounts are not public, they can still receive some messages from strangers. And sometimes people may even hide behind the fake identities, which can make make the situation worse to avoid or report. As a result, when they use social media, they may put themselves in the risky environment of cyberbullying. Last, let's look at the most common problem: addiction. Social media can lead to addiction, and a study shows that teenagers generally can't stop scrolling through social media once they start. Nowadays, people scroll on their phones everywhere, and even adults are addicted through scrolling through social media. There is no need to talk about teenagers who are more easily influenced. And you might have seen a scene that, which is a group of friends sitting around the table and all scrolling through their phones without any real interactions. So what's the point of getting together if everyone is just looking at a screen? So at this time, also addiction to social media can also disturb sleep, which is a serious problem since teenagers are at a stage in which they need enough high-quality sleep. Of course, school performance can also be affected since teenagers may get distracted by constant notifications from social media. Even when they are studying, they may want to check their phones constantly, which can break their concentration and lowers their efficiency. Overall, social media affects teenagers in three main ways. First, it changes the way teenagers see themselves. Most people only post glowing photos on social media. Everything seems perfect, but not real. And this can lead to unrealistic beauty standards and low self-esteem, since teenagers constantly compare themselves with others and feel like they are not good enough. Second, social media increases the risk of cyberbullying. Many teenagers don't fully realize that social media can have harmful effects on them. And online harassment and cyberbullying can make them more afraid to express themselves freely. Third, social media can lead to addiction, which can seriously affect their sleep, school performance, and real-life interaction. Social media can make them less focused on the present moment and more dependent on their phones. Overall, while social media can be fun and connecting, it also can influence how teenagers see themselves. And these influences are not always positive. According to research, teenagers aged 13 to 15 often are in a sensitive stage of mental development, which can make their self-esteem less stable. So that's why we should be aware that social media can have harmful effects on teenagers under 16. Thank you.